that this is being transcribed by Jay Capello from Esquire and the Special Taxing District's Tom Leach, and your guys are paying. Right. And it's part of their, because it's a special taxing district, they asked us as well to have this meeting. They wanted they needed to have it recorded. So that's why that's being recorded today. My name is William Sullivan. I'm the owner of Potomac Land Company. This is Sean Cashin. He's with Gulf Coast Consulting. He's our engineer for the project and for the rezoning and the project itself. Kevin O'Donnell is in the back. He's running video. He's the young man that goes out and makes sure things hopefully look better than they did last month. We apologize. We heard that not heard, but we saw that the growth had gotten out of control in 2 months, and we've now hired a company that will be maintaining it on a monthly basis. So that's kind of where we are. So that's where we're going. So Potomac Land Company, just in case you all don't know, we have a few brochures that pass around right in front. We build high-end communities, specifically in this area for the most part, in Tampa Bay. This is where we concentrate in this specific area. So we've done things like Hawks Fern down on Boyette Road. We've done every project on Boyette Road with the exclusion of like one or two south of all the way to where Boyette then goes into the outskirts of the world. So we've done all those projects on there. Boyette south of River, south of Fishhawk, which then turns into Riverview Drive. So that whole thing is or Boyette. It's Boyette that way too. But we've done all those down there. We've also done things like Valerie Forest, which is a 100-lot community up on St. Cloud, which has this nice, beautiful park as you drive in. We've done a lot of other projects: Valerie Forest, Valerie Park, Summit View. It's kind of an endless kind of a crowd. We like this area. I started my career in this area. I've done work in Bloomingdale, and I analyzed it a few days ago. Every district, every decade of my adult life, I've done work in Bloomingdale. So I used to be with American Heritage Homes. I brought them into Bloomingdale. In the 80s, I worked for Pulte Homes in warranty in Bloomingdale. In the 90s, I brought American Heritage Homes into Bloomingdale. In the 2000s, I sold an apartment site in Bloomingdale. In the 2010s, we rezoned a piece of property called Hawks Springs, which is adjacent to Bloomingdale. So we've done a lot of things, and now this project in the last decade, in the 2020s. So I've done work here in Bloomingdale my entire adult life. And so I'm very protective of what happens here in Bloomingdale, and I'm hoping that what we present tonight and what we present to the County Commission is something that will be hopefully satisfactory to you all. If it's not, that's okay, but we're going to at least try our best to make it as compatible as possible for the area. Turn to the next slide. So this is the location. As you know, you just drive down just south of Nature's Way. There's the community right there. Is where the property was. This is an 11-acre parcel. There was 2 parcels at one time. There was a 2.5-acre parcel in the front and a 10 or a 9 in the back. It was owned by the Hire family for many, many years. And then prior to that, I heard it was a little bit on the not well-used site. It was kind of an eyesore in this town. I won't mention what it was, but it was an eyesore. And we just, we've cleaned it up since we've owned it. Gotten rid of all the old buildings off of it, gotten rid of any debris that was in there. We've done our best to try to make this as nice as possible. We apologize, like I said, for letting the grass grow too high at the beginning. You know the location, right adjacent to Chimino Elementary School. Chimino, as we all know, is it's a good school. It's a highly graded school. It's a great thing. I grew up as a kid walking to elementary school, and I hope our kids will be able to walk to this elementary school. Its future land use is R4. Zoning is AS1 presently. And
What is AS1?
agriculture, what does AS1 stand for, Kevin?
Hold on.
I will look it up. I'm sorry. Agriculture, something 1, special district 1, AS1. So it's 1 unit to the acre kind of a thing. It's kind of what most, actually not everything out here is AS1 either. You can see the zoning around it, around that part is not. We're going to talk about the Brandon Community Plan for a second. We'll look that up.
It's agricultural single-family conventional district.
Conventional district. Agriculture, single family conventional district. We'll talk about the
Tell us
Brandon.
what that means, what it means when you say agricultural, single family. What does that mean? In other words, you can only build single family houses on AS1?
No, well, you could build single family houses on AS1, but very few single family houses. And then the other is it's agriculture. So if, you know, it could be cows, you put anything you want to on it. So, you know. So it's in the Brandon Community Plan, suburban. Suburban is what it's in. And I'm going to talk about the Brandon Community Plan. So the Brandon Community Plan was set up to, oh, and the other thing is when we talk tonight, because of the court or the transcriber, when you speak up and you ask a question or whatever, we need your name just so that it's there. So what was your name? I apologize.
David Miller.
David Miller. Thank you, David. Are you related to the Mr. Miller, Tom Miller? Or are you related to, did you know who Tom Miller was? Or well, the hardware store down the street was his son-in-law.
That was before my time.
In fact, his business partner was on his name on this building, Campo. And that was one of his business partners. That's a very famous, you know, there's a Miller Road here that's named after actually Tom Miller. And he was a really nice guy. I used to have lunch with him all the time. So then the Brandon Community Plan, this is a plan that was developed about 2010, I believe, is when it was enacted. And it's in there, but the Brandon Community, and it was to protect the residents of the area and also protect the landowners as well. So in the Brandon Community Plan, we're in the suburban district. In the suburban district, you know, we are proposing a density of 3.01 units to the acre, a minimum density of 75% of the future land use of R4, and which meeting the criteria set in the Brandon Community Plan Suburban. In the Brandon Community Plan Suburban, this is the least dense project ever proposed. Every project that has been built, every rezoning that has been proposed in the Brandon Community Plan in the suburban district has a higher density than what we are proposing today. And one of my reasons why I didn't propose a higher density than what I'm proposing is because I have respect for what you all are and who you all are, and for the area that we are in, the Brandon, you know, the Bloomingdale area. I believe Bloomingdale, you know, deserves that and should have that. So if you look, there's this was in 2003, which is before the plan. There's the property across the street, you know, is a townhome deal with 84 townhomes at 175% of the R zoning capacity. Here's one, here's a duplex that somebody did in R6, which is 98% of the capacity, 5.9. Here's another one that is single-family duplexes and quadplexes, 60 units. It has 80% of the capacity. And then the townhomes are 83. Everything above it, we're at 75. Everything else is way above that. Or we went commercial. For some reason, they allowed commercial, and I don't quite know the zoning laws well enough to know how they were able to pull it off. But there's lots of commercial in the R4 zoning category. We're in the urban service area. Our topography is and we're going to be talking, so tonight, just so you know, we have a few areas that we are going to spend some time with because I think they're important. We're going to be talking a little bit about traffic. And another area that's very important to you all is the drainage, because I know you guys are bringing that up. Since Sean is here to talk about the drainage and what we've done, because we've actually invested money already to figure out what the drainage is out here and to make sure that we assure that we've got a better situation than what's here today. We have utilities in front of the site. We have the water main and an 8-inch force main adjacent to the project. The surrounding density, this is quite interesting. So for all of those that live on the west side of Culbreth, you all have about, larger lots, 80,000 square foot lots, 7,800 square foot lots. Y'all are bigger over on this side. But on this side, in Bloomingdale, on this side, we're actually the largest lots. We're proposing 6,900 square foot lots. Now we've raised it from the 66 we originally proposed, and we're up to 6,900 square foot lots. So we're proposing 6,900 square foot lots is what we are proposing. So this is the general site plan, and I think I'm going to let Sean take over from here, or at least for right now.
Once again, my name is Sean Cashin. My company is Gulf Coast Consulting. As Bill mentioned, we are the civil engineer of record working on this project. I think you all have seen this site plan layout. One thing I will point out, well, access is off the Culbreth Road. Coming into the site, it could be a cul-de-sac type of development. Here along the southeast corner is where we have retention ponds proposed and a linear pond here along the main access way. We're going to have lots that are going to be on the east and west side of this cul-de-sac road. So as Bill mentioned, one thing that we've done, drainage and traffic is typically a concern on any new projects. So this site is located within the Alafia River drainage basin. The county has a drainage model for this site and other contributing areas that are part of the Alafia River drainage basin model. The county has determined that, and part of this site is within the flood zone, which means that it's inundated during a 100-year storm event, which is typically between 11 and 12 inches over a day, 24-hour period. So as part of this model, the county has determined that the 100-year design high water in this low area, if you remember the topography, everything kind of drains off to the southeast corner. But the 100-year design high water elevation, as determined by this model in the county, is at elevation 43.9. 43.9. So what we have done is two things. First, we went into the model, we performed our own model, and verified that the county's model was correct. Sometimes the models use some information and it's not as accurate as you would like it to be. So we have verified that 100-year, as it is right now, pre-development, that high water elevation is at elevation 43.9. So what we've done, as requested by Bill, we have set up this proposed development and done some design work and layout of these drainage retention areas. And we ran the post-development model, which is the drainage model as if this site was built, capturing, conveying all the off-site runoff from this area that is contributing to the ponds, etc. So we've done quite an extensive drainage model based on this proposed development. It's based on that, the 100-year design high water, based on the proposed condition, we have it at elevation 43.4. So it's about 6 inches lower than the current improvement. The 100-year elevation has gone down by 6 inches based on the additional, basically based on the additional storage or retention storage that we have provided with this proposed plan. So, just add on to that. Right? So anyways, that is an improvement based on the post-development model. We've had other, I've been working with Bill for 15 years. All his developments have turned out to be extremely nice developments. We've had some projects that are similar to this project where they're in what's called the closed basin. The water funnels into a low area and has nowhere to go. It sits there. On all of those projects, what we have done and what we always try to do is under the proposed or post-development condition, we want to improve the situation. Never do we want to create a situation where water levels are raised or it adversely affects any off-site properties that are adjacent to or draining to our site. So this is another case where we've gone in and we've designed the project so that it is improving the situation. It's going to lower the 100-year elevation, at least based on these calculations. But the design high water 100-year elevation is lowered by 6 inches. When we get into final site plan, which is more defined, refined engineering with elevations and so forth, that number may go up or down, an inch or two. But I think what we've done so far is pretty accurate and pretty close to where it's going to be. The other issue is traffic. So
Let's get to this slide in a minute. But I do want to
okay.
get to there. Yes, Tom. Yes, Mr. Miller.
David's over, yeah.
David.
So is this a special flood hazard area from what
No.
you're describing?
It is not a special flood hazard area.
But did you have to submit a runoff plan as part of the proposal?
We will have to
Or
submit.
an outfall plan, outfall or runoff plan?
Well, yeah, good question. We will have to, when we get to the site permitting, site plan stage at Hillsborough County, we will have to prepare, fully engineered construction plans as well as a drainage report, which will include the drainage model and some other information. So that information will have the drainage modeling that will detail that this elevation is lower than posted.
So we're being asked to say, yeah, this is good, and we don't have all the information, because we don't know what your outfall plan is going to look like, that you're going to put into the proposal someplace, down the pipe. So it would be better for us to know what it's going to be, because we're the people who actually live here.
Correct.
And you're asking us to say, yeah, let's do this.
Well, we're required to later on to meet this criteria.
Because then it'll be approved.
Okay.
Later on is later on, not now.
Well,
We
no,
want to know
but-
now.
Well,
Let me answer that. Just
Because we're
one
not
question.
going to say yes to something.
Okay, I see your point.
Yeah.
There's only,
If you were me sitting here and been living here since '96, and this is, go back to the point you made earlier about, okay, we've had bigger lots built, we've had more houses, built, all this kind of stuff. Imagine a blast. Yeah, you poured a lot of water into it early, and now you're only asking us to pour a little bit more water in. Well, that little bit of water just went over the side of the glass. That's our problem that we have when we start talking about. We're going to contend many different areas here tonight that this does not answer. And unless you answer these questions, we're not going to support it. Go ahead and continue. And we'll-
okay. No, and I fully understand your concerns. When we get to the site permitting stage, construction plan stage, we have to provide all that information in that model.
we're required.
We're required to.
We're required.
And we are required to, through this modeling exercise, to prove that we are not raising that 100-year design high water over that elevation 43.9.
We don't know that until we see the plan.
David, just to talk to you for one sec, to answer this question, make it very clear for everyone.
Right.
We have no one we can submit plans to. Until we have a rezoning finished, we can't submit the plans to the county. The county won't review it. At least they've told us they won't review it. Maybe
Seems like
there's
it's
a
all
little
backwards.
exception to change it.
No, you can have plans in place before, Barbara zoning, Bloomingdale code, which is deeply affected by this. We have retention ponds. They have inflow and outflow, overflow, and it is approved by Swift Pond.
No, ours will be approved by
Yeah,
Swift
we
Money.
have to submit to Swift as well.
Okay, where are they going to discharge?
Well, this is a closed basin, there is no
Ours
discharge.
discharge. There's an overflow that discharges.
There is an overflow. There is an overflow.
Into people's yards.
Well, there is,
That's basically what they say, isn't
well,
it?
this is in the model too. This is in the Alafai River model. There's an overflow which comes, it's somewhere around in this area. There's a great inlet. And it does go into a
That's
30-inch
it.
pipe.
Yeah.
In other words, you're affecting the line community.
No, it's
No,
going our way.
we
It
don't
comes our direction.
we don't overflow.
Your water comes into our property.
No, ours goes into Pond A, Pond B, and Pond C. Plans, I've got them with me.
You mean this property? To the south?
Bloomingdale Code,
To-
yes.
Okay, correct. Yeah, so during the 100-year storm, our site does not overflow or discharge anywhere. We are designing these ponds to capture and store the 100-year pre-post
They
volume.
have overflow. You said overflow.
No, the model. So the Alafai River model, just so we're clear on this, they show, and this because they modeled the 500-year storm. So they have a node that's showing here. So during that 500-year storm or 1,000-year storm, eventually this would fill up and it would go to that great inlet, head south and go to the Alafai River.
Up in Plant City, 1,000-year plan just flooded 3 subdivisions. 1,000-year plan
Yeah, but
doesn't.
just so you know, it was none of ours. We built subdivisions in Plant City. I was the developer of Walden Woods. And we had no flooding in any of our communities in Walden Woods, none.
They've had 1,000-year plans that are in effect, are affecting, that have flooded in the past year storms. So saying that you're coming up with a 1,000-year flood plan, backing right up to 20 subdivisions with no place for the water to go, you are threatening
Sir, can I just?
over 500 and some odd homes.
You can go and ask for approval, to have this changed, but we're gonna be there telling the county commissioners, do not do this until we see what we are being.
They won't approve it unless it works.
Right.
The county is not going to approve it unless it works.
It's on paper, but
Unless
it's.
you answer this question, unless you get this fixed, we're not going to be in any way supporting this. And we're talking about a lot of people who are going to be calling their county commissioner and specifically telling them why we do not support it.
Okay?
So let's just move on, because this is not resolved here. Let's move on. Okay, go ahead.
Well, I mean, we have performed a study, we have looked at it, we have run the drainage model, and I'm telling you right now that it's about 6 inches lower than the current
You've
condition.
not submitted a plan to show that.
They won't review it.
Okay, we're talking about us.
But I understand, what I'm trying to say is that the process in the county is that unless for some reason they'll allow it, the process in the county is that we get the rezoning, and then we can submit, and once we get the stamp things, then we can submit the preliminary site plan, and then the final engineering. We're a long way from the final engineering.
It's totally
But
backwards.
But we've already,
The cart before the horse.
So you're saying rezone, and then you'll submit the plan to us?
we can't submit the plans without the rezoning.
We don't want you to submit it, we just want to see it. Okay, that's all I'm saying. If you want us to support you, when you go before the board, you just let us see what it is, and let our people determine if, yes, that will prevent the kind of flooding that she's worried about.
How long?
Well, So, let me just, Milton, last year, October, was there any flooding
Yes.
in this area?
Absolutely.
Yes, yes.
Hey, sir,
I'm just curious, I didn't,
I'm John
Yeah.
Armstrong. And just one, the reason everybody is, I live on that other side of the culvert in a very nice area, high ground. During Milton, my pool was inundated, and right by the grace of God, my wife goes, looks out. I got neighbors, my friends came over, and we had to,
Water on the line.
we were power sweeping, pushing water. It was coming into my house, and I'm on high ground, so that's why everybody's sensitive.
Well, and
We saw
just so you know, there, at some point, the county did, or the FEMA did change the 100-year flood elevation. And so it has been a lot higher than when your house was built. So the 100-year flood elevation, I don't know what it was, I'd have to go back and look at the old things. But I'm pretty sure in this area, and all of Hillsborough County for the most part, they raised the 100-year flood elevation.
Well, I'm still out, and that's the good news. I'm out of the flood. I still buy flood insurance because I've seen Katrina anyway. But yeah, my area in established, it's been there, Fox Run, Greens area, one of the earlier homes, but the drainage, just the way things are now, it inundated, overfilled my pool, and was coming into my house. So,
And John, we had the same thing in parts of Fox Run.
Identify
Actually, one
yourself.
entire street.
Identify yourself.
I'm sorry, my name's Gerald Simmons.
Gerald Simmons.
but I just want to say this, I mean, the way the county process works is, in this case, and I just want to explain it to you briefly. You know, the first part is a rezoning approval to see if you know, this proposed development is acceptable to the county and everybody else. After that, as Bill had mentioned, then there's the preliminary site plan approval, review and approval process. After that is approved,
I've done that, okay? I'm just telling you, when you go to that meeting and they invite people
Okay.
who are gonna come in, who are gonna be impacted, they're going to present, you've not done this, you've not done this, and you've not done this, and they're not going to approve it until you come back with that information.
but we will have to do that, and we'll have to do that, the model and everything at a later stage, but it's just not
It's just going
something.
to delay the whole process. Why not do
No, I
it
don't
now?
care, it's not a question of delaying the process,
No,
it's
it's-
a question of,
It's the county's process. And once, for instance, if we receive zoning approval, once we do that, then it's a 9-month process to get final construction plan approval through the county. And it's a 2-step process, preliminary plan and final site plan, where we have detailed engineering drawings and that drainage report that will show that we are, you know, not adversely
Improving the
affecting
area.
and lowering the 100-year design high water in the proposed conditions. So it's just a long, and so there's certain points along where we have to submit that information to them. They won't accept it during the rezoning. It's just because we're not there yet. So it's just.
I have a question. My name is Mary Beach. So what I'm hearing is you do not go ahead and move forward with any of those buildings that have to be submitted later until you know whether or not the rezoning is approved.
Correct, the rezoning process and approval is the
we
first step.
can't, we're not,
I
there's
know
not
you
a
can't
process.
submit it. I know you can't submit
Right.
it, but I'm just trying to clarify what I'm hearing you say.
Without
is-
submittal, who can review it?
But you could be working on.
Oh, we are right now.
We have to.
So that's what I'm asking.
Yes.
Do you wait until you know whether the
No.
rezoning is approved?
We have not waited at all.
What these plans, so, to Mr. Miller's point, I think what he's saying is, if you have something in the works that would show members of the public that what you're saying is going to hold true, that may be helpful. He's not talking about something that you've already submitted. He's talking
Correct.
about seeing the next stages of your planning to show that there is not anything to worry about.
All right, so you all want to see my work, what we prepared.
We want to see the runoff and the
want the
outflow
storm
plan
caps.
for the proposal. The runoff and the outflow plan for the proposal. So we can see that it's not going into her backyard, and that will make everybody happy. That's good. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, but we're never going to support this until we know what we're talking about. Simple.
Let me ask a related
What?
question. Well, Tom Lynch, do you have architectural renderings of the homes you're going to build?
No.
So you don't know what size home you're putting in?
We have not selected a home builder. We're not home builders, we build communities. We usually sell to Pulte, Homes by West Bay, various other builders, but for the most part, Pulte has been our big, so typical Pulte elevations we could give you, but that would not guarantee it would go to Pulte.
So if I understand the process, it's you develop the land, you clear the land, you get it ready for building, turn it over to a builder who puts the houses on
Correct.
the property. They're going to have a plan.
Correct.
They're going to have drawings.
Drawings.
So-
And I'd be glad to submit those drawings to have them submit them to the Bloomingdale Association, whatever you guys, whatever architectural controls you all have.
I think that would be helpful. I mean,
Okay.
it's not so much the architectural controls, it's when you say we're going to build up to 33 homes, what are they going to look like? They're probably not going to look like the homes in the Bloomingdale Code. Probably not going to look like the homes that back up to the neighborhood there, like where Chris is. But they're going to look like something, and I think we'd like to know what they're going to look like.
No question, we can absolutely submit that to you at that point.
Barbara, Sony, I have another question. The plan you've shown us shows lots 50 foot wide by 120 foot deep.
No, not anymore. That's the new plan. You have the new plan.
No, I don't have a new plan.
Did she not get a new plan, Kevin?
Give me that packet.
Give her the new plan. This is the one that is now submitted.
So how are you going to fit?
We're
this
not,
lot?
they're larger, have a look. We heard you the last meeting, and we made the correction.
Okay, so how are you going to fit bigger lots in that same area?
They're deeper. They're significantly deeper than your lots. Your lots are 110 feet deep, ours are 138.
So where is the land going to come? Because 120 filled that piece of, that strip of land before. So how are you going to get deeper? Are you going to narrow your road down?
No, it just was a random number that was put out there to begin with. Now it is not a random number. Now it is an absolute, not an absolute, but it is showing what the typical lot's going to look like. It was a mistake, ma'am. I apologize.
And you're still going
We
to be able to
corrected it
get
because of
33
your
homes
help.
in there.
Pardon?
You're still going to be able to get 33 homes in there.
Physically, we cannot fit 33 homes, and I will tell you that right now. But for the county and for the planning commission, we have to meet a certain criteria of a maximum number of units of 33, which is 75% threshold.
Okay.
So what we can do is at the main meeting, when we're at the zoning hearing master, is we can request a lower number if you all agree to it tonight. That's fine. We can talk about the potential of a lower number going all the way down to possibly 29.
The southern portion of the 6,900 square foot lots are in flood zone A.
No, they won't be.
Well, according to the county plan, it shows them in flood zone A.
Right, the lower corner is in flood zone A. Correct.
Right, but the building lots are right there.
No, they'll be taken out of the 100-year flood.
We'll remove
the,
There's a process where you can remove lots out of the 100-year flood stage. You prove to FEMA that you meet the requirements. You're not adversely impacting the 100-year. You're going to actually lower the 100-year elevation, things like that.
It's called a letter of map revision.
Right, that's another process as well. I think you had your hand up first, sir.
Vincent Donlin. I got a couple of questions for you, Sean, because you're the civil engineer.
Yes, sir.
And I came from an area that went through a significant flood in 2016. They had a 1,000-year flood, and it impacted greatly everybody in the area. First thing I want to know is, have you done an absorption rate of the dry bed reservoirs?
We've done testing, percolation testing of the soils, correct.
What is the depth of the dry bed reservoirs?
Proposed right now, the pond is about 6 feet deep. That's what's being proposed.
But the seasonal high water was at 20-something feet, but then it was adjusted to 10.
Yeah, it was just at 10 or 12.
Well,
Yeah.
that report actually, we can provide that to you. We have that.
My calculations, I've done calculations on it. My calculations say that you have to be at 10 feet or above. 10 feet or below.
10 feet above what? I'm sorry.
10 feet or deeper.
The pond has to be 10 feet?
Yeah.
No, not with the
No.
size there are. They're
No.
they're big ponds. 22% of the site is going to be ponds.
Well, you're going to take that dirt and you're going to place it elsewhere. Where are you going to place it? Where the building sites are. So therefore, you're going to take dirt out, put it up on land, make the land higher. So where's your runoff going to go? Into the ponds.
Correct, it's going to go in the pond. But the overall storage of this proposed development with the ponds, a lot more storage than what is currently there now, which is what we need too, because of the additional runoff that's going to be generated by the lots and the roads, etc.
Have you accounted for the home square footage, the water displacement from the structures?
We've counted for all that, yeah. The impervious for the homes, and you know, the storage area is isolated down here. This part of the lot is quite a bit higher outside of flood, so yes, we've done all that.
You've accounted for the sidewalks and the road?
Yes, sir.
If the area is already low, which we know it's already low because they can't get in there and finish cutting it. Moving dirt.
Sorry, sir.
What's that?
Back up for a second. What did
I
you
don't know
say?
if that's why they're...
The reason that we can't finish cutting is because there's piles that are still, from the last hurricane, still piled up. We're trying to remove those piles.
Yeah, but some of
That's
the
what's
area
holding
is
up
low.
No, it wasn't anything to do with the lowness. It had to do with the piles. There's no water on the site, sir. In fact, just so you know, we have this water management district a letter now that says that there's no surface water or there's no wetlands on this property. And we got that yesterday. And I'll be glad to submit that to the county tomorrow.
All right. What I want to see is a comparison between the topo from now and the topo that y'all proposing.
Again, that's at the construction plan stage, not at this point.
Would additional dirt be trucked in? Because that's going to exacerbate the situation.
No,
We try to balance sites.
Yeah,
They
we
could
don't-
end up being a little bit off, but we try to balance them.
yeah, I anticipate there may be dirt being hauled off, but we try to, as Bill said, we try to balance the site, work with what we have, and not have any fill being trucked in.
Okay, and I got two more questions. One of them is, has a study been done on the on Culbreth and on Nature's Way as to the impact of heavy equipment going down those two streets? And are you aware of last year when Milton came through, we had a very bad failure of the storm system on Nature's Way that closed it down for quite a while?
Well, I wasn't aware of that. Let me answer your first
Our
question.
water doesn't go that direction.
Yeah, our water goes,
Yeah, but when you bring heavy equipment in there, you're gonna increase the impaction on that area, on those roads.
well,
They're designed not to do that.
yeah, these are county roads. Now,
Are you sure?
to your point,
Hillsborough County, though.
Hillsborough County. I mean, we take pictures.
We have potholes on Culbreth right now.
I believe it. Listen,
Yeah.
everybody's got problems in this world about potholes. That's like a typical.
And this is not a question for engineering. Is there going to be a covenant is there gonna be an HOA, and is it deed restricted?
Yes.
On all
Absolutely.
three?
Yeah, there'll be covenants, HOAs, and deed restrictions, absolutely. And actually, the primary reason that we all have HOAs, first and foremost, is for the ponds, for the maintenance, to make sure those ponds are maintained so that if there is a water event, that it was taken care of. I mean, the Water Management District is responsible for the ponds, but they have you responsible as the HOAs to maintain those ponds. And that's the primary purpose of an HOA, and then after that, then it's to beautify and it should look pretty. But that primary purpose of that HOA is for the Southwest Florida Water Management District to make sure that you maintain those ponds and that whole stormwater system.
So I have,
Oh, I'm sorry, you had your hand up for a while.
Yeah, I'm Susie Watts, Bloomingdale Neighborhood Association President. Many neighbors have come up to me and they said, why do we need these homes? Because they point out that all the new homes across the street near Walmart, they're not selling. And existing home sales in Bloomingdale have doubled in the number of days they stay on the market. So I don't see where there's this need. I don't know that we need to develop more.
Well, just to answer that question, that is my risk, and I'm the one taking that risk, and therefore, that's my problem, and it's not really, but there's definitely a need for it, but that would be my risk.
Existing home sales, if you look at the trend, it would indicate.
No, I understand, and it could be a few years before we get to the other side of that,
Okay.
but that's my risk.
So to follow up on that one, I'm sorry, Christina, just Chris Ray. So you're saying you could actually tear all that land out, basically scar the land, and we could have a 10-year project?
No, it would be more like I wouldn't begin the project if there was a problem. I would just maintain it until then.
So what study are you going to use then to determine whether or not there's going to be an issue?
The market. The market, when you take it out to market, you'll know. I mean, that's the best indicator of all.
Well, I hope you pay attention to it.
I will. I'm not here to, like, build something and leave it out there, because that costs money.
Well, look at some of your other neighborhoods, your pictures, 2014, empty lots.
Well, they were empty lots back then, they're not empty lots anymore. Every single community is full.
Then you need to update your stuff.
No, not necessarily. You sometimes want to show the pictures of, and then we picked that for a reason. The reason you don't show it, Phil, is so that there was what it looked like at one point. It's talking about the year that it was taken, not about today. So no, that's not true at all, because you really, you want to show that there was activity happening at that point. So that's why the pictures don't show all the houses. But every project in there, there's only, of all our communities, other than one that is just now getting CO'd, of all our communities, there's only a few lots left in River's Edge. That's it. Everything else is sold out. So, yes, and then we'll get back to the presentation.
Another question.
Yes.
You talked about density, but you're putting according to your plan, you're putting approximately a 3,900 square foot house on a 6,900 square foot lot, which means that most of the lot without pools will be hardscaped or paved over.
No, we can only build to 70% of the lot, is what it
But
says in there.
then your plan with your house is,
Oh, those are setbacks, I think, on that plan.
That's all that shows is setbacks. It doesn't show what you can build.
Right.
That's just a setback line.
five.
Not 5 foot side yard, but
Which means the house could be 40 foot.
but everyone else has 5 foot side yard setbacks, so does your house.
No.
It doesn't?
My house is 10 foot.
Oh, okay.
I live further in.
Oh, okay,
And
I
am on the
apologize.
board
I
of
thought you
directors.
lived,
I live
I thought
in
you lived right
Bloomingdale
behind.
Cove.
Okay.
I am on the board of directors of
Okay.
Bloomingdale Cove and on their architectural committee. And
Apologize, I assumed you lived right below us.
no, well, I do.
Okay.
I live on Allwood, but not
Right.
backing up. But according to that, if there's, I have 10 foot on either side of
Okay.
the house.
That's fine.
We have 6,600 square foot lots, our smallest lots. We have
Right.
larger lots than that in there.
Right. But our smallest lot is going to be 6,900.
It's going to be interesting to see how you can fit it in when you.
I'll fit it in. We will not, the county will not approve a lot smaller than 6,900 feet.
I had a question. Christine Schrader. I'm in Somerset. So we have 3 stormwater drain retention ponds that we work with Swiftmud on because our HOA is responsible for
Right.
making sure they're viable, clean, and all that stuff. So these would be stormwater drainage ponds.
Correct. Our retention areas or
It's
something.
gonna, like, there'll be storm drains in your curbs that the water is gonna feed into these 3
These 3 ponds, just
retention
22%.
ponds.
Correct.
And then it will be
Site
that
pond.
HOA's, that community's responsibility to make sure they're square
Absolutely.
with mud and they're
Absolutely.
qualified ponds and they're
Absolutely.
working.
And I need to cut.
Yes, I'm Nancy
You
Bentley.
had your hand up before, I'm sorry, Paul.
Yeah, I'm Nancy Bentley, and I've been here 30 years. And we didn't have any flooding, but the weather, it's global warming here. All the floods in the United States, people that have never gotten flooded before, now they're getting flooded. Why should we take a chance? Why should we build some more homes and have all us flood? It's not worth the risk to where the weather is.
Well, I mean, the weather is crazy, it's unpredictable. I mean, we know that from Milton last year. That's why when we work with Bill on these projects, you know, engineers can go in there and they can lower the 100-year elevation by an inch. We try to substantially lower the water elevation to ensure that we are significantly improving the drainage and also to prove that we are not adversely affecting people adjacent to the property or, again, other properties that drain, in this case, to this property. So,
Okay, I have another question. With the homes having individual solid waste receptacles or central community ones, and if the central were on the property, will the central solid waste receptacles be located? Where would they be?
You're talking about trash cans?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure trash cans would be out of the curb
Right.
like it is everywhere else.
right.
That's pretty much where, I have to take my trash half a mile up the street out to the curb. So yeah, you put it out to the curb.
This is a little one. Okay, so we now have these retention ponds, and the curb, all is gonna funnel it into there. Is there an outlet for these ponds? Because the other ones that we have in the neighborhood next door have outlets. Is it gonna have outflow?
This does not have an outfall. It's a closed basin, no outfall.
And a good example would be is what's called, what do they call it? Hawks Grove. Builders change the names of my communities from time to time. But that's Hawksfern Phase 4, and that had about the same amount of land in the 100-year flood as this. Same size, actually, pretty much the same size property. And there was no flooding issue yet last year at all.
There was closed basin as well.
It's a closed basin as well, and had no flooding issue at all. Let me keep going through the presentation because it's kind of important. Okay, so we are, let's go to the next slide, which is project data table. So we have an open space of 0.54 acres. Open space is only parks and the area in the front for the entrance area. We are proposing 33 units, maximum density of 3.01. The front is going to be 20 feet. The side setback will be 5. The rear will be 20. The pool will be 3. And for all you in Bloomingdale, the setback from Culbeth Road is going to be 600 feet. Now, we didn't build anything up in the front, as you saw. We put it all in the back. So we're way back there. We've clustered this whole community. On top of that, the minimum lot area is going to be 6,900 square feet. The minimum lot width is 50. The maximum building coverage is 70%. The maximum impervious is the maximum building height is 35 feet. The perimeter will have a 6-foot PVC with trees on center every 40 feet, and a landscape buffer and sidewalk easement on Culbreth Road. But then on Culbreth Road, this is, did you update this data table, Kevin? Because it doesn't have what we're doing on Culbreth, or do we show it?
It's in a different slide.
Pardon?
Different slide.
Okay. So here we go. So here's what we're doing on, so on Culbreth Road, we heard the Bloomingdale Neighborhood Association, and we are now going to do a type B buffer, which is required only on scenic corridors. And a type B buffer is, what the heck is a type B buffer? Okay, it has screening of standard A, which is, for type B, is required screening shall consist of evergreen plants, 6 feet height, provide an overall screening of 75% capacity, a mason or a PVC fence 6 foot high, finished on the outside, or a berming combination. And then B screening requires the following, which is then the requirement of all the A standard, including a row of evergreen trees which are not less than 10 feet high at the time of planting with a minimum of 2 inches caliber, and they're spaced not more than 20 feet apart. The trees are to be planted 10 feet from the property line. So that's kind of, so it'll be right inside there. So we heard you all from the last meeting, and we wanted to make sure that we were giving it a much better, well, we were going to probably do it anyway, but let's put it in code. Let's put it in there.
So, quick question, Chris Ray again. On that fence, for those houses that are on the, what direction am I from that?
Southwest.
West.
You're on
Thank you. On the west side.
West side. They actually have even more.
Immediately west side.
Immediately west.
Can you raise that fence to like 20 feet?
No, we're not allowed to raise it to
20 feet?
We can't even raise
I'm
it.
facetious on that one. But I mean, if I got to stare at the back of the house rather than what's there now, let's just assume that it gets approved. Can you raise that more than 6 feet? You're asking for
No,
variances.
you got it.
You're asking for variances from the county for other things.
No, we're not asking for a single variance. No, we're not.
On traffic, right?
No. Oh, you're right. Design and variance. Yeah, you're right. Apologize, that's correct.
So,
I apologize.
so why can't you do that? Because I know that the houses there who have enjoyed that for about 2 decades or so, since those houses were built. We don't want to stay, basically look at it long and skinny, the backyard of a 2-story townhouse-looking kind of structure.
Well, they're not going to look, it's
But
offensive to
you
use
don't
the
know
term
what they're going to
townhouse.
look like. That's part of the problem with the rendering. So is there a way?
Every single house that's ever been built in ours they're higher quality houses. So I don't understand, we build mostly high-end subdivisions, so I don't quite understand your point about the townhouse look, because they're not going to be townhouse looking houses.
Well,
but I do understand what you're saying, the 8 feet, the 6 feet.
yeah, maybe an 8 foot, 10 foot, I don't know. Either that or you get my running bamboo.
We can
ask.
We can ask. It's a little bit tricky because it's probably better to go do a variance.
His reference to townhouses is the fact that the houses are built so close together. There's only 10 feet between the walls.
Just drive to every subdivision that's been built in the last 20 years, and they're all the same. They don't all look like
My house, I got 10 feet on each side.
Okay.
So do I.
You just mentioned the park. Is that going to be a shared amenity with Bloomingdale or just for your people at the cul-de-sac?
How does it, Tom, you run the taxing district. How does that
I
work?
don't run the subdivisions. We run everything outside and entrance.
Okay, I would venture to say that all the subdivisions
If you don't have a gate,
private,
if there's no gate.
there's no gate, nobody's going to really stop them from going in there and using it.
There's going to be a park we've referred to at the end where the cul-de-sac is.
Yes.
Yes.
Is other Bloomingdale people, can I take my kids down there to play or not?
My guess is it's not going to be a gated.
It's not going to be
So
gated.
then it will be available.
It's not going to be gated, it'll be open.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there might be a fence there, but for possible other reasons which we all know, we can't ever use the term.
Yeah, hi, I'm Anna Versnick. Where that park is, that backs up to Chimino. So
Yes.
is that going to be open to the school, or is
No.
the school going to have?
We'll
So then
go
it's
through
not
that
open.
slide in a minute. Because the
So
school
it's
has made
not
it very clear they don't want anything,
No problem.
They can't permit you to do it for security reasons.
no, there's actually a portion of our property that's outside of their gate, and they still wouldn't let you put, that's not true at all. That's like,
The school has to be secured.
I understand. But this is really beyond the school security, it's outside the gate.
I have a
Right,
family member who
right,
teaches, and
right. The school has to be secured, absolutely. Well, the school is secure, there is no, we actually just, about 8 years ago, or 6 years ago, we provided a sidewalk to an elementary school through one of our communities, and back then they allowed it. Today, they're like, no. This is only like 6 years ago. So we did, and actually it was a quite novel idea because it was an entire neighborhood that couldn't get to the school by just walking, and now they were able to walk to school. So it does happen, but the school board has changed that policy, and so we can't really do much about that. So the people behind us, you're going to have a fence, and then behind the fence will be trees every 40 foot on center, which will be, canopy trees. So that will help you with your situation.
I still don't understand if the lots were only 120 foot deep.
They're not anymore, man.
If they were, and you're now making them 138, which is another 36 feet of depth on each side, combined, both sides of the road. How do you get that size?
It was always
out of
there.
the same-
Remember, I told you it was a mistake.
You said it was a mistake in your calculations.
No, not a mistake in calculations, just a mistake. There was no calculation mistake. It was just a wrong exhibit was put in in the present.
How many more mistakes are made, I guess, is what's in the back of our minds.
I don't know. I'm sure you make some too. Okay. This is a color concept of it. As you can see, the ponds are showing that they're blue, but in reality, the ponds are going to be designed to most likely be dry ponds.
There will be dry ponds.
And therefore, there'll be grass. So they'll all be grass ponds.
And how often will those get mowed?
With an HOA, they'll be mowed weekly.
Probably, yeah.
Because it's every few weeks, whatever the HOA schedule does.
Can I ask a question? Tom Leachy, I have a point now, because I'm curious. Here's your lot coming out in Culver.
Yes.
Who owns this lot?
Well, I'll go to find the survey. Let me find the survey. That's not on this slide presentation. But the survey, this portion is this 15 foot is right of way to here, and then from here back, it's not. It's actually, this line is wrong. It should be right up against here.
There will be, Christine Trader, there will be land though, usually around the retention pond. There's land on
Lots
all
of it.
sides,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
you
yeah,
can
yeah.
drive around with it.
Correct. There's
Absolutely.
access.
And that backs up to the dry retention pond that's on the school's property. Because that
Yes.
big thing is, so it would be
Yes.
a dry retention pond most of the time.
Right.
But where it comes out, I think that's that little dirt driveway there.
Right.
So
Right.
will there be a fence on the north side of that driveway between the driveway and the retention pond? Or?
Yes, there will be a fence.
Around
There will be a fence right in the front here. That's because that's what, right on the frontage on Culbrook, there'll be a fence. There won't be a fence once you get inside, but right there's going to be a fence.
But right now, there's the fence there with Bloomingdale Code.
Right.
And then there's that little dirt driveway, which
Right.
is the strip that we just described.
Right.
Will there be another fence on the other side of that, or no? Will it just be grass and retention pond?
No, we're putting up a fence somewhere.
Okay, so there'll be two then.
We're probably going to have a right-of-way utilization permit and try to put it right up against where they are. So that will be a request that we will ask for a right-of-way utilization permit to then put our fence right up, and basically replacing their fence, so they'll have a much nicer fence, because their fences are falling apart. No offense if you live there.
Not all of them. I've approved
A lot
many.
of them
I've
are-
approved many.
A lot of them are
I've
falling.
approved many along
Yes,
there
ma'am.
of vinyl.
Right, but
One by one,
there's
they're being
a
replaced.
significant number that are kind of falling down. But we'll be glad to, as soon as we can, we'll be glad to do what we can to get a fence up there, but probably after we at least clear the land, because I don't want to put it up too early, otherwise could be a mess. We'll keep going. So parking, open space, we talked about it a minute ago. is that the park, we got a half an acre park, and then we got 1,700 square feet up here in the landscape buffer tract right up in front. So we're going to have a total of 5.54 acres of that, and the ponds take up 22% of it. And if you notice, we've clustered everything in the back. So it's not, it's the least amount of impact we could come up with for Bloomingdale. And then,
What happens with all those trees that are being cut down?
well, there's a few things that happen. One is we try to preserve the ones we can and the ones we can't. And if there are grand trees, which are a certain caliber, is it 24 inches and above, or 36 inches, depending on the tree. And you have to pay a tree fee to pay them off. And then you also have the situation where some of those trees that you think are beautiful and are not. They're sickly and they're not doing well. They've got inclusions in them. And we've had arborists. There's an arborist report that exists, and so we have already had the arborist out there to write the report on what trees are good and what ones aren't. So,
David Miller again. So they did do a tree survey.
yes, sir.
That's good.
And it's all been submitted to the county, actually. The tree survey was. It was part of the survey. If you go online on the county website and you go to optics, you can find and pull down our survey. You can review our survey.
Yeah. Well, see, that would be helpful. See,
Good.
you know, you're telling us all these things, and we would like to see it. I'm trying to read these.
The tree report's not in there, but the tree survey
because
is.
it's so small. I took my phone out to try to read that.
Oh, I apologize. We put it on a page.
You're asking us again, and that's a key point. We're not destroying the trees.
Amen.
Talking about the grand, I think it's the grand oaks, because that is what's keeping the, flooding down as it is. Okay, because of course the trees are very important. So I would like to just see what we're saying on what trees are still going to stay and what trees are going to come out.
We do that at the
We
final
do
engineering.
The final site plans is where
Yeah.
the board determines. I mean, we do try to save as many trees as possible along the rear of the lots. The trees in the park area, probably a lot of those will be saved. There may be some additional trees here up in this area.
There's a grand tree over here we're trying to work somewhere in
It's a
here.
little closer to the road.
Closer to the road.
Yeah.
There's a grand tree we're
We're
trying to
trying to
work
save
around. A
that.
good example would be if you get a chance to go out to Summers Cay, and you can see how we preserved the big grand oak as you're driving in. That's kind of the same appeal I want
Go
to
out
do
there
here.
now and look at it if we want to.
Yeah, you can. You go on my property. I'll give you the gate code. I'm not going to publish it right in front of everyone, but I'll be glad to give you the gate
Yeah, I would
code.
like to do that, because
Yeah, no
you're
problem.
asking us again to,
Kevin can walk you through the site, or you can go out on your own, whatever you prefer.
I'd suggest wait till they finish cutting the grass.
Yeah.
No, the grass is cut as much as it's going to be until I get the maize
Snakes like
out.
high grass.
No, we don't, there's a few spots that are still not cut because of the piles that are still there from the hurricane debris. So as soon as we have those gone, then it'll all be clean.
so you can give me a copy of the plan, the survey that was done, and then I can go in there and take a look at it.
Yes,
I could
we
put
can
out
give
the
him a
arborist
copy of
report,
the-
sure.
Thank you. I'll get an arborist to go out there.
So here's the connectivity map.
Great.
Unfortunately, not unfortunately, but the county will require us to have one proposed street entrance going to the north of us in case somehow they were able to put a bunch of these together and try to do something. And so we have to stub it out here. We did this at many projects where the county, it's an old clause the county wants, that was from years ago when ladies were running, when the last commission, prior commission, two prior commissions ago was running in place. Okay, so then we have an administrative variance for driveway spacing, and it's dated August 5th, 2005. And that's for the driveway spacing because you have to have certain distances for driveways. the individual driveways are where we've got to kind of get a little caught, so they got to give you a driveway, so you got to get a variance to get, so you actually have a driveway. And then the design exception is for the substandard roadway, and we are proposing for the design exception, we are proposing 2 crosswalks with rectangular rapid beacons along Culbreth Road to be built to allow safe and continuous walking path from the proposed development to Shimino Elementary. And one of those will be built, get to the one that doesn't, we'll get back to the traffic thing in a minute here. No, hold on, where is it? Okay, one of them will be built right here in front of our community. It's the north side of our community, and the other will be built up where the existing crosswalk is over here up the north, because if you notice, you can't even see the crosswalk, and it's not, the striping is bad, but a triangular beacon, when that flashing light comes off, people actually slow down. It's very safety oriented. Yes?
If the purpose is passage to the school, why is it not at Nature's Way in Culbreth?
Well, that is actually a good question.
There's a lot of kids that go through there.
And there is a lot of kids that go through there. We can propose putting an additional one, if it's approvable, we can propose an additional one just as a condition of our approval.
We already have crossing guards.
They don't.
Then they don't, they what?
We already have crossing guards.
Okay, so, right, so we have, different people want different stuff, so, okay, so then I didn't look at, there's a thing that talks about these beacons, but you know what they look like. You've seen them when they flash. I don't have to show the video again.
If you're putting that flashing beacon, will you extend the sidewalk from where it leaves off just north of Allwood, right at the edge of your property, up to the crossing?
Yes, it will be extended that far, yes. We cannot extend the sidewalk any further because there's not enough right-of-way. But no, there is, in the plan, there has to be a sidewalk built. It's part of the county code to build the sidewalk.
So I have a question then. So the current crosswalk is at Allwood and Culbreth.
Right.
There's a flashing light there. So it doesn't make sense that there would be one there and also one at the end.
Well, no, it actually does make sense. Let me tell you why.
So would that one go away?
No, that one would stay.
There? Okay.
The reason why you would have a second one here, and the reason why you do it is because I was a kid, and as a kid, I wasn't going south to go north.
I got you.
So I'm not going south to go north. I'm going to cut across as quickly as I can to get to the thing. So our kids...
there's 2 within like 50 feet.
It doesn't really yet. It's going to make a difference.
Okay. But there would be a sidewalk from your entrance down to
Yes.
Allwood if somebody wanted to go south before they went north.
Right, they could, yes.
Okay, so there'll be 2 pretty close to each other.
Yeah. But, you know, but you're not a kid. You're not going to go.
Right.
No, not one kid will go south to go north.
Right.
Maybe their mother might make them, but that would be the day their mother watched them go south to go north. So we are, let's get back here. So we're going to go back and talk just for a second on the traffic that we have, because I know everyone's concerned about traffic. So with the ITE trip generation, we have 22 AM peak trips, or 22 PM peak trips and 20 AM peak trips. And so, and peak hour out is only 13, but then the 22 are coming in. This number actually will be less if we build less units. But I'm gonna, so it's, the maximum it could be would be this, the number of traffic would be this. So it wouldn't be, it is more traffic. I will not argue with that. I'm not gonna say to you we don't create traffic, but the traffic quieting thing of putting in the beacon up at the school, if there's one there by the school, it might actually help encourage more kids walk to the school to their parents, because now they're not only crossing at the school where they have this line in the thing to do.
They don't bus them. under 2 miles.
Yeah.
So
Right.
if you're within 2 miles, you're walking or you're having somebody.
Or mom
drive
is
you.
taking you to work.
Correct.
It's a choice school, is it not?
Correct.
I do have information about that.
Yes.
Susie Watts, I spoke to the administrative office of Chimino last week. They're currently enrolled 758 kids. They have 5 buses only that run. They estimate 30 kids per bus, let's say 150. So that leaves about 600 kids that have to either walk or be dropped off by somebody driving them. So you're not, your impact is not that great, but it's already a problem-prone area with 600 people. So then I asked him, you know, how many walk, how many drive? The vast majority drive. So 600 kids are being dropped off there. And we all know, we live here. So I understand 33,000, but when it's already max, that's why you're hearing a lot of this feedback.
I would encourage you, if you have an opportunity, school starts next week,
Yeah.
one morning or one afternoon,
I'll come out there.
come out and see what the traffic is like in Chimino.
So
You'll
here's,
have a front row view.
this
but
is,
you won't be going anywhere.
Chimino has, of all the schools around here, Chimino has the best line to get out here. They got 1,500 feet to get to their drop-off point. 1,500 feet.
Just come out
And yet
one
it's
morning.
still a
I know, but I'm just saying, it's the best of the bad situation, it's the best out there.
Come see.
It's backed up to all but
Right, but it's the best of that. Everybody that has a school anywhere around here has got a lot less room to get out and in and out than this place. This place is like, you got a darn road getting into there. That's like crazy.
So that'll tell you just how bad it is, because you can still see an awful lot of overflow, traffic lined up,
Right, no,
backed up at the stop sign.
well, and you know, the funny thing is there's even a secondary entrance on the other
Well,
side.
Adelaide backs up just as much. Anybody that goes out in a lot of the after-school programs,
Right.
they go out the back gate, which there's a new housing area back there that there's more congestion. Will be more congestion with that too, and I would assume.
When you're
those
saying,
folks
where are
will
you
come to
talking about?
school. There's another
On the east
community
side.
on the other side of Chimino
Oh,
that goes out.
Hot Springs, that's mine too.
Okay, so that will bring kids in.
Yes.
To Chimino, they'll be using that.
Actually, no, that they're not
entrance,
bus,
exit.
believe it or not, the other side, over in Hideaway in that area in there,
They go to
they're not
Lithia
zoned.
Springs.
They go to Lithia
Lithia
Springs.
Springs, some of them will go to Lithia Springs.
Yeah, they can choose to go to,
Right.
but they're zoned for Lithia Springs.
If I may. Randy Kermeyer, understood the traffic analysis is once the project's complete. What can you tell us about the duration and volume of traffic during the construction phase?
Well, the
I
duration.
think frankly, I'm more concerned about that.
You're more concerned about that. Well,
the effect on the school.
it takes, I'll kind of give the time frame. So it takes usually a year from permitting to finish, to build out just the construction of the horizontal, the infrastructure.
Infrastructure.
But then the vertical probably takes another 2 years, because, you know, you've got, depending on if it's slow or if it's fast, it's basically a 2-year beyond, so it's a 3-year situation if you'll have some traffic come in for a 3-year period.
And then, is there any way to estimate the volume of traffic associated with that? Obviously, the longer it goes on, probably the less it is at any point in time, but it just seems like that would be a bigger impact on our roads than once it's fully developed and occupied.
Right, no, I see your point.
It's an impact on the school. During the school year, the noise.
It's me again, sorry, Mary Leach. So do you know if, and I don't know how this works, I don't know if it would be something that you would request or have a discussion with Hillsborough County, but in anticipation of the kind of construction traffic we'll have in a few years, would Hillsborough County resurface Culver?
They have a resurfacing plan. You gotta call the county and see when they're planning on resurfacing it.
But it's your project, that's going to impact Culver. So is there a way for you to have that discussion with those road companies?
We try to find out what their capital improvements
It's
program
10 years,
is.
it's every 10 years, that's what it is, 10 years.
Resurfacing every 10 years.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's better than most places.
It never happens.
Yeah.
And you.
That's their
have you
plan.
seen- I mean,
Depends on who's
Culver
running
has
for office.
potholes.
What is the hours?
Let me make sure I understand. So.
Generally, it's from 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. to like 5 at night or 6
Yeah,
at
it's
night.
7 to 5 or 7 to 6. But I think the earliest they can start is 7.
Yeah, underneath the rules and that.
Yeah.
So you're required to have a mitigation plan when you already have severe traffic in that area. So therefore, you're required to have a mitigation plan when you're going to add to a failed, road during that, period. So your mitigation plan that I heard here tonight is you plan to put up 2 little lights and crossing. And that's it. There's nothing.
Well, the mitigation plan is because the right-of-way width is 60 instead of 66 feet or 68 feet.
Yeah,
That's the only reason. The rest of the road is fine.
Yeah, the design.
It's 20. It's a typical. Give them a typical roadway. And
Well,
that's
the
meets
design.
typical roadway.
You need a design exception for any development if you're connecting to a county roadway that doesn't meet current county standards. And probably 95% of the roads in Hillsborough County do not meet the standards. Because the standards in the code book, for instance, for a urban roadway like this, you have to have 68 feet of right-of-way. You have to have, bike lanes. You have to have, sidewalk on both sides, et cetera, et cetera. If you don't meet one of those standards, we are required to submit a design exception for a proposed roadway connection to that substandard road.
Right, and to try to improve the situation that's already out there. That's what the beacons are for.
Right.
But again, that's it. That's all we're talking about is the beacon. Because already you have for an hour in the morning and an hour in the afternoon, total gridlock. And you said you haven't seen it? Go out there and see it. It is total gridlock. All the way back to Nature's Way and all the way back up to some part of Ridge, Bloomingdale, Ridge.
It goes further than Nature's Way,
Well,
it goes all the way down our side.
Okay, well, whatever. It is gridlock. And so it goes back to my glass. We've had, people move in, the glass is full of water. And it's not just a little bit more water you want to put in there, you're saying, but you're adding to a dangerous situation. Because when people get frustrated there, in the morning, they start doing crazy stuff. I've seen them when I'm running down there biking out in front of other people. And it's amazing that we haven't had people killed there.
Well, we did in front of Alafaya.
I'm sorry?
We had a runner killed in front of Alafaya.
So this is the second thing. So we're asking us to buy into something that we know is going to make the situation worse. You're saying it's just going to make it a little worse. We don't know how much it really is going to make it worse. Okay?
Well, we're hoping it improves.
There's no hope. We don't. I was in the military 10 years. There's no such thing as
Okay, then we are improving.
hope.
We are improving the overall situation by providing the beacon.
The 2 little beacons. That's it. That's what you want us to buy into. We don't buy that. I'm going to tell you, we are not going to buy that.
Okay.
If you're not going to do something to improve that road, and she mentioned that, widen it or whatever, so people can get around on one side or the other, it's not going to fly.
No, it's not.
I would say for us, what's going to happen, I'm in Summerside,
Right.
on the other side,
Yeah.
Hope, is that most likely people are going to come down and go through Allwood, go through our neighborhood to connect to Nature's Way to avoid the traffic that's all blocked. And that's going to be frustrating and dangerous because that's a neighborhood road. But they're going to cut through Allwood, go down River Close that connects to Nature's Way, and make a thoroughfare through a quiet neighborhood to try to get around the school traffic.
And the precedent is there because southbound traffic from Culver cuts through Bristol Green to avoid the northbound line
Right,
on
they can
Culver,
get through.
so they can get out to Nationwide.
So that's.
Whatever Waze tells them they're gonna take, yes.
Yeah.
And just to be clear, we're not blaming you for the mess that it is right now.
Yeah, no, we don't want you to have to do with us.
But it's gonna be.
There's what you show us, and then there's
You
the
worry out that
photo
they
of
can't-
what it's like there every morning and afternoon. That's why I invite you to come out and see it for yourself.
Right, we'll come, I'll be glad to come out, I'll be glad to even meet you out there and do that on any Thursday, it'd be great.
I have a quick question. Susie Watts, during the construction, where are we gonna put all the construction trucks? Are they all gonna be on site, or are they gonna be on Culbreth? Where are they gonna be? Are we gonna try and, because if we add anything to that road, we already know
They will have to be on site.
it will have to be
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
site. Nothing will be impact Culbreth.
No.
Nothing, we're not gonna be having trucks sitting on the side of the culvert and,
Well, it already, these people, and then they do the zoom around where they cross the
Right.
mitten. You know, you see it.
it's a bit of a turn of the page.
People get impatient.
Yeah.
So the road is classified as suburban residential CR 3, CR C3R, and so we've identified that. Compatibility in an effort to minimize the impact of the surrounding community, the lots were clustered in the back of Culbreth, and the proposed buildings were set back 600 feet from Culbreth. The distance of the street to the proposed building pad is 900 feet via Road A. Additionally, the existing houses to the south, the first proposed lot is 900, in the north is 900 feet, it's 400 feet. So our lots are literally 400 feet from the southern one and 600 feet from the back, but the crow flies at 600 or a little over 610. That's what's going on there. These are the changes that were made since our meeting from before the meeting. First one was we had 6,600 square foot lots. We've now gone to 6,900. Our typical lot size was 50 by 120. Now it's 50 by 138. The 20-foot landscape buffer on Culbreth before the last meeting was not defined, and now the tree planting in accordance to the Land Development Code, section 6.06.06C, or screening of standard B, and the setback from Culbreth Road was 25 feet before, even though we weren't building anything up there, and now it is 600. And so we've at least made attempts, and as you can see, the change in the typical lot layout and the present typical lot layout.
I have a question back here.
Yes, sir.
Andrew, I'm from Windsor Woods. I'm just curious, you guys have all kinds of diagrams and things like that? And you do modeling, I'm assuming CAD modeling?
Yes.
Why don't you have a CAD model that shows and illustrates what this neighborhood will look like with what you have right there? Because I think what you're gonna see is you're gonna see minimum lot lines, and I think people in this room are gonna go, well, that's ugly, and we're not sure who's gonna buy it.
You're more than welcome to drive through.
No, I know, I shouldn't have to drive through your neighborhood. You're coming into our neighborhood, so I think you should be able to illustrate to us, if you use your typical builder that you said with the variances and the elevations, you should be able to illustrate to us, Bloomingdale Park, when built out, will look like this. Why not? Why can't we see it? I know you have that already. I bet you do.
We have done a lot layout, and so we know what the lots, what the lot, how it's going to lay out for the lots. But in a zoning request, you're not supposed to, just the bubble plan is all you're.
I have a question. What if, say, the in a different way if you don't get the rezoning from the ASC subshare?
I don't really know I don't know how to address that, because my belief is that I'm doing the best I can for the community and I'm meeting all the requirements by the county. I mean, literally, all the requirements. I'm trying to meet all their requirements.
Right.
Like, I'm the guy that goes into the areas and does exactly what the county tells me to. I'm not like trying to step out and do you know, crazy things in crazy places. I'm just staying within my lane here of just
Right.
identifying a site and then building what is best suited for that, you know, area and meeting the county requirements, because there's a housing shortage, even though you say there isn't a housing shortage.
No, they're just not selling.
Well, they're not selling, but there's still a housing shortage, and that's because people aren't lowering their prices to sell their houses.
So if it's not rezoned, they can move somewhere else. You haven't thought about what might happen if you don't get your rezoned.
I mean, I can't say what I would put there. I mean, I could end up putting a farm of some type. I could, you know, could raise pigs or anything else out there.
You can't do a development if it stays as AS1.
I most likely will not want to do an AS1 development, no.
Mr. Silva, you had talked about the houses in the housing market. And I know you mentioned this before in one of the previous meetings. What was the price range that you thought you were going to be able to sell
I
these
think that
houses
the
at?
prices are going to be in the, you know, the 700s and above, but I don't know that. I can't guarantee that, but that's pretty much where I think it will land.
And then in your market analysis, where's the shortage of houses at what range? I can tell you.
Really not the 700.
Who knows where it'll end up pricing, but the bottom line is I'm trying to build higher-end houses. Nicer houses. I want to build nicer houses than what's here already. But we can go online right now and I can pull you up some Pulte plans of what they're building in our communities. I mean, if you want to just look at it for 5 minutes, we can do that. Yes, sir.
Gerald Simmons. Maybe I missed it, but are there any comments about the size of the homes that you expect to build in? Square footage?
The square footage, my belief, would be somewhere between 2,500 and 3,500.
So,
That's a pretty big range.
to fit that on, the 50-foot wide lot means you're going to be building 2-story homes.
It'll be all 2 stories, I think.
Yeah. But 50-foot lots do not match up with the majority of Bloomingdale. What the original Bloomingdale community, Bloomingdale East, Bloomingdale West, their lots have more space between homes. That 50-foot lot is not conducive, the same as what was being built.
No, it will not be consistent with the surrounding, most of the
Oh,
surrounding
Bloomingdale
subdivisions.
Cove, the minimum lot is 60-foot wide.
Okay.
Some are bigger.
That looks like a townhome
Yes.
lot. That's what it looks like.
That's what we're saying.
And what I'm afraid of, okay, is that we're gonna get somebody to come in and say, okay, they got this size lot before for a house. Why can't we get townhomes this size or Section 8 housing, you know, for this size, okay? So unless we see something that is built to look like our community, again, we're not gonna buy into
This is going to,
That's why the
this
remark.
will look a lot better than what you're having this side of, the east side of, these houses are going to be nicer than what you have on the east side.
Okay.
I can't guarantee that, but I'm hoping.
Talking about, but I do know that our neighborhood does not look like the thing that's across the road at Walmart, where they're selling them for $600,000.
Those are townhomes.
Okay, that's what I'm telling you.
I'm not
That's
building
what
townhomes.
want
I
to
didn't
see
come here to build townhomes.
That looks like a townhome lot. Is what
It
I'm
does
trying to
not
tell
look
you.
like a townhome
Yes,
lot.
Mr. Sullivan, it
Well, I
does.
mean,
Hold on, let me.
townhomes are 80-foot to 120-foot long buildings, no space in between. You have a common wall. That's a townhome. It's a big building. These are single-family lots, and you're gonna have 10 feet between the homes as you go down the road. So,
Controls of the development have.
these will be single-family, not townhomes.
It says 5 feet.
Yeah.
Do they
And I said, you know, that, I
Do
tried
they-
to
So
home.
10 feet between walls.
Do they have range on what they decide to build?
Yeah, you want some sugar?
No, we work with the homeowners association, we can work with the community and come up with a plan that everyone will be happy with.
I have a question. So, what is
So that's not off the table, once it's turned over.
We would have, right?
Everybody put the noise down, they have another.
I'm here to become part of the community, not be adverse
Not
to the
unless you
community.
answer our question.